Listen, I don't know about you, but I started a business so I could do this. Travel, be with friends, be with family, create memories. I didn't do it to sit at the computer all day. I didn't do it so that I could just be in countless emails and Zoom meetings. I did it to create opportunities for myself and opportunities for others. So listen, if that's something that interests you, enjoying time with your friends, being out and about, definitely drop by Erica Williams' Classy Climb blog. Check out the YouTube channel. We've got over 2,000 videos of free information that's actually changed people's lives. People actually post their new jobs, their new careers, their new businesses all the time over at the channel. Oh, what's up, everybody? This is your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog. Coming in late night. Drop your seat and stay in the chat. Great to hear from you. Why am I doing this live? I have an early travel morning, so I'm already packed. All my stuff is packed. The house is ready to go. And I just want to address a few things. So late night live, expats, education, life-changing riches in 2 years. And on the screen, I have Middleman to Millions School and Middleman to Millions. And part of why I was talking about it, if you notice the trend of people telling you to buy businesses, they're telling you to buy businesses that are in what? The trades. Because they know what? The average guy makes just enough for himself, or he'll make enough for him and his crew, and he's not going to overdo it. But let's get into it. Let's really get into it, okay? Let's go. I have a few clips I want to show y'all. And part of my issue, someone said, Erica, you're always talking bad about passport bros and expats. Now, let me be very clear. I love travel. I traveled a bunch as a kid. I would post a lot more pictures of my family traveling as a young person, but it just has all my family members on the photo. And they didn't ask for this life. They didn't ask to be on social media. They didn't ask to be on YouTube. Y'all know my mama don't even like Facebook. She's like, why you keep putting me on the Facebook? She'd be really upset. Okay. She'd be upset. So I'll put old military photos of her or old kids when we're kids of them. So a lot of the photo is our family, 20 plus family members traveling, you name it, Panama, Costa Rica, Haiti, parts of Europe, Japan, you name it. We were all over the place. We all are on our second and third passport books. Okay. These are military people. These are extended family travel, but we didn't make that our life. We didn't go to school and be like, yeah, I just came back from Panama, bitch. Like we didn't go around beating up America. America's not as good because, we were in Panama. We got a sandwich for $1. We don't do that. Okay. You saw me in Florida, Ritter. What's up, Kenneth Ritter? That's what's good. And my biggest thing to y'all, I want y'all to understand is when you see most expats online, they're not talking about, man, Thailand's so fun. This is what I've been doing in Thailand. This is what I've been eating. This is what I've been doing. This is what I've been doing, this and that. They never talk about that. Okay. They gonna tell you about how bad America is all day and all night, how the food ain't great, it's poison, everybody's crazy. They're just going on and on about America. And then you ask them, what did they do in America? What was their job? What was their position? What did they own? What did they invest in? Crickets. They don't own nothing. They in an apartment. Their stuff is in a storage unit somewhere. They lived in, like this one guy was like, first time ever in Vietnam. It's the safest I've ever been. It's the best place ever. America's dangerous. And everybody's like, brother, where were you? Where did you live? He's like, I lived in Memphis. Then he give you more details. You're like, you lived in the hood of the hood of the hood of Memphis. Why did your mother have you over there? Right? There was a guy from Philly who was just like, oh, Colombia's safer than America. And they're like, brother, where did you live? In Philly. Okay. So I just want to say when I am talking about expats, I'm talking about people who their parents, unfortunate as it may be, were poor. It is what it is. And they never drove outside. This is for New Yorkers too. I know somebody's gonna be like, well, no, I know somebody from New York and somebody from California. New York and California folks get into their own little icebergs as well. They call the rest of the country what? Flyover country. Flyover country. There's a kind of a trend going on right now on TikTok, and people have been showing it to me, where young Black people are traveling to like South Dakota and North Dakota and Idaho and be like, have you ever been here? Like they went on an expedition. And I'm okay with that because I want the young Black people to travel. But you can't be talking about Europe nonstop that has its own problems, where I can show you France is collapsing as we speak. They are telling you they're running out of money to pay for all the Muslim immigrants they have in their country and all the pensioners. They're going to run out of money. Like real life, real time right now. Like they're an alert. Red alert is alerting in France right now. But yet these young people will come online and be like, America's the worst. We don't have free stuff, free healthcare, free. There's not a hospital in the world that will turn you away today. If you walk in there, you could be bleeding down your leg and be like, man, get them in the back. Throw them on a stretcher. What's going on? There's not, again, when they started, you get injured in Mexico, go ask All Things Real. When he got injured in Cabo and they took him to the back and they were like, you got a credit card? You got some cash? And it took a minute. His wife had to go get the purse because they was going to wheel him right out into that lobby. You're going to sit there in pain. So you should be grateful that you even have the opportunity to be in America where somebody will literally wheel you in there, wheel you in the back and be like, oh, you have some money? Oh, let's go ahead and take care of you. In America, we just going to wheel you to the back. We going to wait till you wake up from the anesthesia and be like, hey, baby, you got some insurance? Baby, you got some insurance. Oh, you don't have none? That's all right, baby. Hold on. We're going to move you to a smaller room. We still going to care for you, but we're going to put you over here. Okay. And I've had many friends who said, Erica, I didn't know I needed to make more money till I saw where they put my mama and daddy in the hospital. When I saw what the Medicaid gave, when I saw what the Blue Cross Blue Shield gave, I knew right then and there I need to go make more money. And y'all, some of y'all ain't hit that point yet. Some of y'all ain't hit that point, and that's all right. That's all right. Y'all ain't there yet. That's okay. Give it a minute. Some of y'all gonna learn. Now, my problem is when you sit here looking at these Black Americans sometimes, and I know I'm angling the show. Some of y'all, I had 2 Hispanic people write me like, hey, Erica, you kind of beating up on Black people. Like, hey, bro, I hear you. Thank you. Okay. But I just want you to understand, why are they heavily marketing to you in the middle of a Gilded Age in America? Where people are just creating ideals and making a ton of money, buying real estate, making money, starting apps. Still, people are still starting apps. You think apps are dead? They're not completely dead. Kawhi Leonard, they made up a company on paper and funneled millions of dollars through it in a country robust with money. That they're marketing heavy to you. Don't buy no house. Just travel. You know, Black people don't travel. Y'all should travel. Y'all should live overseas. No, girl, don't worry. Keisha, go move to Mexico. Well, is Keisha going to get married in Mexico? Is a Mexican man looking for Keisha? I'm just saying. No, Robert, go to Colombia. Yeah, where there's 68% single motherhood, like in America. But you know, look at her. She's cute and she's a spicy Latina. 68%. 68% in all of South America, 68% single motherhood. But if those women were brown, yeah, these hood rat Black bees with single kids. You're like, what are you talking about? You're going and paying for prostitutes that speak Spanish. Okay, Erica, get out of there. Get out of there. Okay. What about, I don't want to go there. I'm going to go to China. Cool. For sure, bitch. Yo, go to China for sure. What are you going to do there? Where you working? What's the job you going to have? I just want y'all to understand what the game plan is for these people. Like, I'm going to run away and play tourist. Oh, I went to Italy, Erica, and nobody was racist to me. I have multiple Black friends that live in Italy. They know the northern part of Italy. They don't like you. Now, when you show that American passport, they might get like, oh, hey, hello, yes. But overall, they don't like you. And they're like, because the Africans. What? They was tripping like that in the 80s and 90s. To this day, my mom, who is ignoring me, she won't go to Canada. She like, them people racist. I ain't got time to play with them. And I go, no, mom, I go to this other part of Canada where the brown people are in the Banff part. She'd be like, I'm done. The Montreal, them Quebecs, they had one time to act crazy with me. I'm good. I'm straight. I'll keep my money. But when you have people who have never traveled, who don't go nowhere, they don't know that. They don't know that I was going to Panama as a kid. And then I took 2 groups of almost 20 people 2 different times. Well, the second time I went 20 people. It was a good number, about 15. To Panama, to another country. I've been going there. They've been trying to speak Spanish to me when I was in the other part of Panama. They've been doing stuff like that. What are you talking about? It's new to you. Okay. If you go to China right now and you don't have some money, you'll end up like the black school teacher who got in a fight at a bar and they was going to give him 10 years in prison. What did he have to do? He's like, please, Biden, somebody help. So, somebody help. Somebody, I'm over here. Oh no, brother, you want to go to China and teach English in China. Go be over there. No, brother, you over there now. This what happens when you want to get in a fight at a bar. You're over there now. This ain't America court system. This is China court system. Yeah, you get 10 years. I just want y'all to understand, like, a lot of people are out here trying to sell you wolf tickets, and you should find it very mysterious that the leading financial pages were always talking about getting a home, NACA programs, buy a home. They go do a White House visit. They come back. Now they bash home ownership on repeat. How do you bash home ownership when one of your conglomerates is a mortgage guy? I mean, again, I'm not super conspiratorial. I'm just want you to understand, like, how. And now even they talk about, look at us in Africa. Look over here. Look over here. It is a master distraction. When I'm sitting here and I can pull you up about 20 white boys from the last mastermind I went who are under 25, started businesses 2 years ago with credit cards, and now they're bringing home $300,000 a month, $300,000 for the year. Tell me where you go, what job you paying is going to get you $300,000 in 2 years. This is why when Tabitha Brown said what she said, so many people are upset because they know at most they're going to be in some type of service business. That's maybe they get $40K for the year. Maybe. Not much. I just want you to understand what's happening. I just want y'all to pay attention a little bit. The 3 points I had is you could do 2 to 5 years or you could do 10 years. The choice is yours. I had Dion come on. I know he wants to come on again. We got to figure out where we're going to squeeze it in. You know, he's traveling as he should. And he bought a duplex in West Coast every 2 years with kids. Single daddy, mama not there. I mean, like, did y'all hear his story? Were y'all paying attention? His ex-wife went skedaddle, keep the kids, I'm gone, and left him with 80 credit card debt. Did he whine? Did he complain? No, he went and decided to be a truck driver instructor and then bought a duplex every 2 years. Now, at the end of 10 years, he's retired. Now, you're going to say, well, Erica, that's different. Listen. I told y'all the math. You want to pick up 3 Cleveland duplexes? You know what? At the end of the year, you got 3 of them. You'll probably get about $60K a year in rent payments. That's somebody's salary replacement. This is why when people talk about real estate, you can do it fast, you can do it slow. It's your choice. Every 2 years, you want to buy more duplex? Great. In 10 years, you'll have 3. You'll have replaced someone's salary in your house by doing that. So on this channel, I'm never bashing jobs. It's just, what's the game plan? What's the path we roll it on? Because in America, we're very comfortable until it gets uncomfortable. Until somebody looks up and, oh, I can't afford that. Or you see somebody's car wrecked. Most people, I'm going to tell you what 99% of people are doing right now. They're looking at Mercedes-Benz, BMWs, or pickup trucks. They looking for, I wrote in my notes real quick. I'm sorry. This handwriting's terrible. Downtown apartments and Instagram restaurants. And Instagram in the fall, the pumpkin spice stuff, the leaves, the everything. They're Instagramming it to death. They're Pinteresting it to death. They're getting the sweaters ready and the jackets because your girl did it for the other day too. I ain't gonna lie. But that's what most people are on. So when I sit here and tell you, they're like, well, most businesses in America fail. Who's the average person you interact with? Are they training themselves? Are they educating themselves? Are they deep diving? Did they read like 20 books before they started that business? Did they go follow somebody, shadow somebody? If you ever look at the data, and you can look at it on your own. There's a book, Illusions of Entrepreneurship. The average person, when they start their first business, they're 44 years old. And it's a low-tech business. What happens at 44, y'all? 44, you ought to have some kind of life, some experiences, a wife or a husband, some kids, but you're 44. When is the average person a millionaire? 50 years old. So that person starting that business around 44, 45. In about 5 years, they're a millionaire. Now you're like, well, correlation and causation, Erica, don't, you can't put them together. When is the average age of people start investing in real estate investing? Bigger pockets, all of them, all the data, Dave Ramsey, you name it, 35 to 55. What is happening 35 to 55? Y'all parents is getting older. Them kids is getting older. You're starting to stabilize in adult life if you have skills. Okay. So when they're speaking to, let's just go there, a demographic of older, unmarried, unhoused. I'm gonna say unhoused when you don't have a house. Oh yeah, you should go overseas. Girl, have you been overseas? Have you traveled? And they already know you're so deep into wanderlust that you'll spend the next 5 years just running around traveling. I know people like this. I'm getting ready to show the clips. I know I'm getting ready to show the clips, but I want y'all to understand. I had a phone conversation with somebody who used to be a friend, but they're more of an associate. And where they know me 6 years ago, they were like, girl, you still hustling and grinding, going for it? Yeah. I said, what? I said, girl, I had a breakout crazy year 2020, 2021, 2022. It was the best. What are you talking about? I had a bust out year in 2018. Girl, I bought these properties and this other stuff. Girl, I'm still living off that. Girl, I was telling some places I'm traveling. I'm keeping it between me and her. But long story short, in that same one little time, unfortunately, she's going through a divorce, problems, issues, little stuff. But when I tell y'all people be wrapped in their own world, you can be on Facebook, social media, see the person like they post, and they in a whole nother world. Because the average person's like, yeah, the kids are going back to school, the kids. They aren't, it's not a season of stuck. I want to be careful on the wordage. It's a season of just patterns. Right? They know the kids got to go to school. They got to go buy clothes. They got to do stuff. Kids got braces. Kids got eye appointments. Kids got this. And so when you're doing something alternative to the kids on fall schedule conversation, they like, dang, girl. I said, yeah, girl, I went to go look at a plane. I realized how much it would cost and how much the hangar cost. And they're like, what? A plane? Why? What's wrong with flying? I'm like, girl, have you been in the airports? The people are terrible. They smell. The seats are too small. Yada, yada, yada. And so it's like when you realize when you haven't spoken to someone in a while, they don't know what you're doing. They have no clue. They're like, what are you doing? Right? Because people are usually wrapped in their own little worlds. And so when I sit here and tell y'all in all the classes every Friday, won't y'all just post a little something, post a little win, post a little something that's going on in your business, post a little happy stuff, right? Y'all be like, well, Eric, I don't want nobody to think I'm posting too much. I don't want nobody to, y'all, when I stopped posting and one of my Instagram pages got taken down, people called me on the phone. Are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, I'm not even being funny. Charles Ogilvie out of West Coast, California, like, you all right? I said, yeah, man, I thought something happened to you, man. Yeah, I ain't seen you posting. I'm like, cause I'm out here living, bro. I'm living life. Like, had to do a rundown of what I was doing. There's another guy who is a big contractor, and I hadn't seen him post online. And I was like, well, you all right? You good? He's like, girl, I bought a farm. Didn't they tell you? I said, no, they didn't tell me. He's like, oh, my CEO be doing all that part of the business and that part and that other stuff. Massive leaps and bounds people can grow in a 2 to 5 year window. That's if you're looking to grow. You don't have to. It's not forced. But if you're looking to. And so when people say, well, Erica, man, you used to teach people about buying land for, $1,000. What happened to that? Baby, we still have all those videos. We still have the courses. We still have all of that stuff. We can't be 10 years in still talking about buying land for $1,000. I get it. Some of y'all are still there. I've already written that down a million times. I could literally right now do a campaign off old content talking about buying land for under $1,000. Y'all, can y'all hear me and see me? There's a thunderstorm happening. I think I hear thunder. I hear lightning. Can y'all hear me and see me? Put a 1 in the comments if you can hear me and see me. Please let me know. So if I know it could keep going or not. Okay. And the reason I bring it up is because if you aren't planning your future, regardless of who you think's looking, baby, you will miss out on life. You got to keep on going on about your life. You really, really do. I have a friend who had to go back, he had an ex, they moved across the country. They was fighting him in court back and forth, and he was really paying money. Like, not these people that say, I fought for my baby. No, like really flying to California to try to go get his kid. And eventually the kid got 17 and the other woman is married and, she's doing, she remarried, you know how that go. And she was like, well, just go see your daddy then. He picked the kid up from the airport. He thinking, oh, I'm about to be in this little bad condition with you. He comes to Texas. His daddy's living in a giant 4-bedroom, 3-bath house with a pool in the back. His kids are going to private school. They're living a great life. And the kid's like, why was my mama keeping me from you? From arguments 10 years ago. If your daddy ain't a piece of crap, in 10 years, his life ought to be different. He shouldn't be still crying about child support. He still shouldn't be crying about he can't keep a job and his license is about to be taken away and stuff happening. People's patterns will show you who they are. Most men, once they divorce and go on with their life and start working and like, I'm trying to see my kids, their life improves because it's a financial numbers thing. It's just the numbers. That's why when I be online, these men be like, yeah, child support had me down for 30 years. 30 years, brother? What is going on? What's happening to you? Didn't you do the math and realize I better go become a truck driver? I need to go get a skill that's going to pay me because this is eating me out of house and home. So that's not normal to not progress as an adult. Okay. And thank y'all for the ones I can see. Okay, so y'all can hear me. Cool. Let me go on to the next. But I just wanted to tell y'all, you can pick the hard way, the long way, the soft way, however you want to say that. Pause. Okay, but it must be a decision you make. 2 to 5 years is fine. Right? I tell y'all all the time, grab a sheet of paper, write on a piece of paper who you want to be, where do you want this person to go, where do you want them to have traveled, what do you want their life to look like? You know what I'm saying? And have room for adjustment. You can still do a 10-year plan and still be good. You know why? Because the average person ain't planning for they plan for nothing. So you'll be ahead just by trying to craft your path there. But no matter how you slice this, in America, you will have to raise your active income and put it into reoccurring income. That is the majority of it. Again, your friends and family will probably always see you as little Erica, little Joe, little Bill, whatever. But you can go out in this world and make hella accomplishments and stack the deck if you want, right? Because the average person is not. Okay, so let's go ahead and let me show this first one. The first clip here. And nothing wrong with, still wanting to buy 1,000-acre land lots. I salute all progress. Okay, I don't want y'all to be like, Erica's crapping on me. No, I'm not. That's not what's happening here. Is it gonna show up or not? Okay. I think I showed that yesterday. Let me go over here. Dang, let me get to it. Okay, well, it's Facebook. Dag on Facebook. Okay, here it is. Sorry. Be just trying to share something. All right, here we go.
America in my children's or grandchildren's time, when the United States is a service and information economy, when nearly all the manufacturing industries have slipped away to other countries, when awesome technological powers are in the hands of a very few, and no one representing the public interest can even grasp the issues. When the people have lost the ability to set their own agendas or knowledgeably question those in authority, when clutching our crystals and nervously consulting our horoscopes, our critical faculties in decline, unable to distinguish between what feels good and what's true, we slide, almost without noticing, back into superstition and darkness. The dumbing down of America is most evident in a slow decay of substantive content in the enormously influential media. The 30-second sound bites, now down to 10 seconds or less, a lowest common denominator programming, credulous presentations on pseudoscience and superstition, but especially a kind of celebration of ignorance.
Ooh, that was like 11 or 12 on the nose, directly on the money.
He wrote this in 1995, so 30 years ago.
He's spot on.
But I think there's a brighter future out there for us, and I like to work with folks.
Yes, and on a positive note.
When nearly all the manufacturing industries have slipped away to other countries, when awesome technological powers are in the hands of a very few, and no one representing the public interest can even grasp the issues. When the people have lost the ability to set their own agendas or knowledgeably question those in authority, when clutching our crystals and nervously consulting our horoscopes, our critical faculties in decline, unable to distinguish between what feels good and what's true, we slide, almost without noticing, back into superstition and darkness. The dumbing down of America is most evident in a slow decay of substantive content in the enormously influential media. The 30-second sound bites, now down to 10 seconds or less, a lowest common denominator programming, credulous presentations on pseudoscience and superstition, but especially a kind of celebration of ignorance.
Ooh, that was like,
Okay, why did I show y'all that? This is 1995 when this man wrote that. You can actually go back and see people who wrote stuff before 1995 and told you that was what was happening in our country. You can see people, you can see people telling us like the lack of reading. You know, if y'all don't remember, where's the beef? Does anybody remember the commercial from from back in the day? It was like, where's the beef? Anybody? Don't leave me hanging. Do y'all know that? Put a 2 in the comments if you know who that is. Where's the beef? Right? There was a time when McDonald's had the quarter pounder. And Wendy's tried to compete and said, we got a 1/3 pounder. And people didn't buy the burger. Why did they not buy the burger? They thought quarter pounder sounded was more. 1/3 versus 1/4. And so you have already, that was in the 90s. Okay. Wendy's, Dave Thomas. The Frosties had clay in them. Literal Georgia clay in the Frosties. Go look it up. They removed that packaging and that mixture. So, of course, the Frosties are very liquidy nowadays. And people were like, oh, that's crazy. No way they had clay in them. Yes. That was part of what made Frosties thick. Clay. Mineral clay. And so now you see, and I tell y'all what's going to, as you can see, if you look around, right? I think Wendy's had what, a 4x4, right? They had a 4x4. Is that what it was called? And I went and I asked somebody about Wendy's or something to the effect of like, they wanted some chicken nuggets. They no longer have that on the menu. When I went to go get this for this chow, it was like for $6.99, I'm gonna give you a couple chicken nuggets, some fries, a burger, and something else. And I was like, that's a steal. And they were like, yeah, people get mad at us every day because there's no more 4x4. And as he was saying it, I was kind of laughing. Like, you're getting more for the $6.99 than you will for the 4x4. People don't care. People don't care. They're like, where's the 4x4 at the Wendy's? Give it to me. You can get, I'm just not even be funny. We were talking about it with the manager. You can get like 10 chicken nuggets and fries and a drink in a combo. And the man was like, it's $9.99. I said, well, what's wrong with that? He's like, do you know people get angry about there's no 4x4 and they got to pay $10 for chicken nuggets? Like, it's crazy. It's getting wild out here, y'all. The math ain't mathing for people. Now I'm gonna show a snippet of France, just the snippet. I ain't gonna spend too long. I'm not even gonna go into a deep France conversation because I already know. I told y'all I'm gonna do a separate video on that. Them Africans ain't playing with y'all. They not playing with France no more. Y'all done killed enough of they administrators and all them other people. Nah, they ain't playing with y'all no more. They ready. They bowdy. Okay, they're gonna go down with the ship. Because they just have enough time. They might not let us play it. Let's see. Okay, there it is. Hold on. Let's get your audio straight.
This is getting ready to collapse, and nobody's talking about this. And this is not me just fear-mongering. No, look. Fears of French collapse. Sound the alarms. French stock slides as Paris government faces risk of collapse. Timestamp there. France may need an International Monetary Fund bailout. Reuters, French stocks, bonds tumble as government faces potential collapse. Market Watch talking about the collapse. So what exactly went wrong in France and what's going to happen next? We can see that the public debt hovers around 3.3 trillion euros, which is around 113% gross domestic product, which is the highest in recent history. The budget deficit also remains stubbornly high, projected at 5.4% of GDP in 2025, with warning signs of persistent weak fiscal discipline, pushing it closer to 6% without significant intervention. Now, keep in mind, their goal for their budget deficit is 3%. They're double that, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get down to that 3% anytime soon. So they need an influx of cash desperately, and they may have to turn to the International Monetary Fund to help bail them out. Because once news got out about how bad it really is financially in France, Investors immediately started selling off in the stock market and selling their bonds off too. Now, it's important to note that France is the second biggest economy in the European Union. So the fact that they're collapsing means this is going to send shockwaves through the entire European Union. So France really has to do something fast because this is not good for the EU at all. So what options does France really have right now? The first and most important thing that they absolutely have to do is create their own version of what the United States created in Doge. They've already stated that they're spending way too much money and they need to cut back on that wasteful spending. So creating a version of Doge will help cut in to that debt to GDP ratio that's been devastating for them. Next, and as sad as this may be, they may have to take this bailout from the IMF. Obviously, it's not ideal, but in order to keep the country going, you may have to do something like this, but time will tell if they actually do. The last thing they have to do is a confidence vote. Since all of this is happening, they have to decide if the current leader in France is fit to actually lead the country out of the current situation it's in. If the rest of the countries in the EU decide, no, he's not fit for the bill, he's going to get voted out and they're going to put somebody new in that can help with this problem. So France is on the risk of...
All right. Let me get on out of there because let me tell you, that was the one video. I had a second video. It's not playing and that's okay. But let me tell you what the big deal is. France, in the other clip, it basically talked about how they have huge pensions. And France was been basically in 2000, France came out and said, man, we about to be running out of money. Now, the African countries in 2000, this is 25 years ago, started saying, hey, we are paying significant amount of money to y'all. Y'all got UN up in here running our country. Basically, the way the National Guard was running around DC, that's how French military was running all around parts of Africa, enforcing the law. So they started asking France, hey, y'all need to give us some type of benefit, some type of something. Y'all treat us like a colony, but we're not getting any colony benefits. Now, if you go back and look at this stuff, I'm not gonna go too far down in the rabbit hole. The France started letting more Africans in 2000. Like, look, we're doing school exchange programs. What are you talking about? Look at all this stuff we're doing for y'all. We're not going to do stuff on your country, but we'll let you come over here. Okay. And so what ended up happening in this massive welfare program they have, but they've said it since 2000. If it wasn't for the country's resources from these African countries, as far as not just food, money, labor, etc., oil and gas, mostly oil and gas, that France would be a third world country. Their own prime minister said that. You can go dig. That's why I said I have to do a whole separate video because people don't really understand when you talk about Wakanda Forever and they use France and everybody was like, oh, that's crazy. France, that their army can't do anything. France has been whooping up on Africa. 6 countries, used to be 14. Now it's just 6 for a long time. And when that whole mission you guys have been missing out on, I'm not going to go too deep. Let me stop. The point of what I'm trying to say is countries that are in real economic peril have to turn up the what? Turn up something. Tourism, turn up what? Births, turn up like expansion theory. China went and expanded into Africa because they need the resources. Point blank, period. They need it to just function. And if they lose a couple hundred of their millions of single men who stay in Africa and impregnate a black girl and stay there, cool. Even better. We'll come back around. It's a part of our 100-year plan. Keep it moving. France is like, we're just going to extract. Now, if you ever look up the total that Haiti had to pay them, Haiti basically had to pay them $70 billion over 75 or 112 years, some crazy long time. Don't you think Haiti could have looked better if the UN and other countries didn't force them to pay back France the money they owe them? Did America pay France any money back? No, we sold them the Louisiana Purchase. We bought it. Okay, cool. Everything's juicy, right? So America even enforcing Haiti pay these people back is a part of that issue. America even forcing Haitians to not be able to come to America. They called it wet foot and dry foot, letting the Cubans stay, but sending the Haitians back. Told you all you need to know. When Obama stood up on the podium and said, if we let in 1 million Haitians and they're all sending money back to Haiti, in 5 years, Haiti will look like Miami. But y'all don't want to hear that part either. So the point of this I want you to understand is when people say, well, I'm going to go live overseas, I'm going to go live over there, I'm going to go hide out. You're allowed to be a tourist in somebody else's country, and they're only nice to you because you have the dollar. Let me be very clear. Your old rusty uncles going over to some of these countries, these women would not even pay them a time of day if it wasn't for the dollar. I literally have a black friend whose mom is Korean. Her father was 31 years old talking to a girl from high school. And her family's like, N-word, if you don't get from over here, talking to our 17-year-old daughter and you're 31 years old, get your old ass from over here. Because what? They weren't poor. This is South Korea. They were doing good. They were not poor. Now, when he got to America, and again, he had a wife that had died in that story as well. So, like, they were already like, I don't know, he bad luck, baby. He done had a wife die already. Like, this is kind of crazy. Kind of old to be picking up a 17-year-old. They get married. They go over to America. Her family, the family member who owned a business had a stroke, and the family needed, like, hey man, can you bring us to America? It's just real hard in South Korea right now. He's like, no, because remember when y'all called me the N-word all those years ago? And they're like, dude, it's because you were so old. Don't you realize the context of what we were saying and how you were dating our sister? Nope. He's just being spiteful. Again, those people would probably not even be bothered with y'all if it wasn't for the dollar. Again, there's a guy, y'all tell me to stop beating up on him. He's from Louisville, Kentucky, a poor part, goes over to Thailand, Philippines, gets one girl pregnant, brings her back to show his family, his grown adult children. Look at my wife and my baby. Guess what she does? She takes off with the kid and runs to the nearest embassy and goes, I'm applying for asylum. That part he don't put on YouTube, but everybody knows it, okay? That's what happened. She won't dealing with you, old black brother. She was just trying to get to America, and he ain't seen her since, her or the kid since. Okay? Now he goes back to the Philippines, picks up another one, because he don't learn, okay? And so I just want you to understand, like, they only dealing with you for the dollar. And for you to go and be like, I'm going to live overseas, like, I'm going to go relax and get a soft life. And see, Erica, I'm over here. I'm stunting on you hoes. I'd be like, show me what you make in their dollars. They ain't showing you that. I know two people right now who are on disability, and they are overseas living it up. And I said, if the United States knew that $3,000 they give you every month, and they're not military, they just disabled, is going for you to hang out overseas, baby, they would cut your money. They would cut your money. I just want y'all to understand, like, you can decide. Listen, and I'll bring it up again. Other day, I talked about the plant at 15 minutes from Savannah in Georgia. And everybody's like, oh, it's in the middle of nowhere. The work conditions were terrible. Let me just say that again. 450 people times $60K a year income. I'm just saying on the low end. That's $27 million that could be in the local economy, aka black jobs, aka some white people that live in Savannah. That would be going to them. The other day, Corey said on By the Hood, oh, that's a military town. Everybody black ain't in the military town. They usually working in food service. Knock it off. So that's $27 million. That's not going in your economy. That's not going to your cousin's Hellcat. That's not going to pay for your grandma's taxes on her property. That's not going to your little JoJo cousin that could be going to a better school but can't because mama got to live on this side of town because that's all she can pay. You have to understand this is a part of the politics that matter because it touches you. When you are so worried about Trump, you don't know who's running in your local election, who's the local sheriff, who's the local judge. Why do you think they're doing so much gerrymandering? Why do you think they're gerrymandering Texas right now to the point that Jasmine Crockett has officially lost her seat? It will when they put the gerrymander in. And the black attorney who was a civil rights attorney and been out there for 50 years in Congress loses his seat. Why do you not think that's important? If elections didn't matter, okay, if elections don't matter, then why is it so important who gets elected judge, who gets elected sheriff, who goes up to Congress to meet you? Why were they so mad at AOC being up in Congress? Because only when they went back to look at the data, only 5,000 people showed up to vote in that part of New York. She won by 457 votes or something stupid. And now they're looking like with egg on their face, like, well, we didn't know the election would be so important. You didn't? You didn't? Okay. You sure? Okay. So again, when I talk about People say, well, Erica, you were hating on crypto and all that. It's not that I'm hating on crypto. It's not that I'm hating on any of the tokens, any of the internets. I just want you to understand what's the play in it. Because we're still under 99% of us are still under where your house at and do you own some land? We're still under, if whether y'all believe it or not, like when you only let the landowners vote, we still under that doctrine. What's happening right now in Arkansas? All the farmers are begging for a payout. Instead of the people telling the farmers, hey, you need to go direct to consumer. You need to, maybe you need to put a website together, Instagram page. You might need to start selling your products direct. I have several friends who are farmers who have small farms. And if you sell about 100,000, 200,000 in farm money that year, 600,000 that year and products and services and crops, you're good. But the government's not going to tell them that in Arkansas. They're going to be like, well, we need to support our small farmers. No, you need to tell your farmers sell stuff that people will eat locally. Don't try to sell soybeans to China. And China, we beefing with China. Don't sell certain be smart now. You know, the truth is they have to come in and educate them. And these white farmers that's begging for help were just the same farmers begging not to pay the black farmers back. Come on, man. If you don't understand micro and macroeconomics in this country, baby, good luck. Good luck. If you don't understand why North Carolina blocked the NLI money going from majority of the state is lower income in some parts are black and winning the most winning football teams, but you can only get the NLI money if you go to a Christian private school or a private school. If you don't know that somebody lobbied for that, what are you doing? That's a way to get big giant Lester and Jesse and Jerome to come over to our private school. Come on, man. Because now not only are they going to get NLI money and business is going to be over here being nosy looking for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Come on. All right. Now, y'all seen all this boots on the ground and this Beyonce. If you're a black farmer, you got enough land to do an event. You better do an event at your place and keep it moving. Get you some money. Get you some real money every year. Y'all do the trail rides anyway. Get some real money with it. Okay. So listen. Where am I going with this conversation? Why was I bringing this up? Most people want what other people want. And that's unfortunate. And if you don't understand that when you see those commercials, 2 years ago, I was sleeping on the couch and then I was doing and I changed my life. Those are real commercials. They're real because the average person's not doing a lot. Just aren't. Let me show you this. This is, I've got two I want to show you. Let me show you this one first.
And skipping small talks, also the reason.
In an office, nothing that will make you more hated in an office or corporate environment than skipping small talk.
Yep, my friend Emily's right. And skipping small talks, also the reason why you're not getting promoted. All of us just want to work somewhere where our work speaks for itself, but that's not the case for 9 out of 10 companies. Person who eventually gets the promotions and the big salary jumps, they're not going to be the most advanced or the best person at the job. It's going to be the person who's most liked by the decision makers, aka the person who knows how to ask kids strategically upwards and to their bosses.
Nothing that.
Oh my gosh. Again, you want to skip small talk at work. You don't want to chit chat. I just want to come in and do my job. Baby, good luck. Because that's the whole point of it. Social interaction. Who has the best social skills? There's a ton of people they can train to do the job. How many of them do they want to sit around? Y'all, I showed y'all when I showed that brother with that crazy hair. Oh, brother, what is going on with you? You like, what are you doing? I wouldn't want you in my office either. Offices, strategic. When you go through some of these trainings with Grant Cardone Ventures and all these companies and these marketing consulting bureaus, every employee brings in 250,000 to the team via their work and their product and their service. Now the goal should be 500,000, but that's another conversation for a deeper day. When they have AI tilting in their favor now, and they really only need a skeleton crew of people. And what's a skeleton crew? If the company could have 100 people, but they really only have 50, that's skeleton crew. And you can look at, there's a lot of videos I can show and kind of explain what a skeleton crew is, but y'all should be able to understand what I'm saying. So if I got to have 50 instead of 100, every one of those 50 got to be doing their job. 1. Number 2, they gotta get along. 2, because that sucks up time. 3, we just gotta make sure we ain't got no thieves, because that sucks up money, right? Number 1 place people still is at their job. And we can have the machine running. There is a guy, when I start talking to him about this expansion I'm doing right now and how I want to do, he's like, all right, well, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna have Monday and Wednesday Zoom calls with your staff. I was like, okay. He was like, and that's it. He said, eventually you're gonna phase yourself out. You can be like, I can only come on Friday Zoom call. I can only come on this Monday, whatever, right? Because they have to get to a point where it's not even you there. Whoever's the big boss hog, they see him, they report to him. But overall, at the beginning, you want them to feel the heat of, oh my God, the boss is here. Because y'all know how y'all be on Zoom calls. Let's be honest. Y'all don't be paying no mind on them Zoom calls, okay? The boss is here. We better get doing what we got to do. We got to be on task. Let me report my numbers. It's a lot of tricks and trades they teach you. But essentially, you can have an all remote staff if you need to. But what turns up the heat in 2 ways, gives you the better quality managers, is having an in-person location. Why? Y'all know people love being managers. I know y'all think I'm joking on that. They do survey after survey. People want to get in management so they can change things, or what? People can have deference for them. There was a video. I thought I have it, but I looked for it. I don't have it with me right now. I thought I had it queued up on this laptop. But essentially, when they did surveys to figure out who wanted to come back to the office from COVID, who do y'all think it was? Do y'all think it was men? Do y'all think it was women? I think it was young workers or older workers. Let me know in the chat who y'all thought it was. Do you think it was men? Do you think it was women? Do you think it were young or older workers? Who y'all think it was? I'm gonna give y'all 30 seconds. I'm gonna look over y'all comments while I think that. Again, who do y'all think it was? Do y'all think it was men, women, older workers, younger workers that wanted to come back after COVID? Let me tell y'all. But I'm gonna look at some of y'all things. I heard England's having problems too. England been having problems. There is no money. You never run out of credit. Your labor and signature is currency. There you go. 100% thankful for urgent care. 15 minutes from the crib. You already know. I've seen it with my own eyes. They will leave you right there. Come on, man. They'll leave you. Black people falling for it every day. Don't leave your land. Own some. Bob, exactly. What you going to China for? Do you speak Chinese? Are you planning on learning? And people literally be like, I'm going. Where are you running? Yeah, I remember that meme. Why are you running? I saw a gang of Africans in Italy in 1999 selling fake purses. They've been going back and forth over there. This ain't new. They act like, well, they just don't like because of immigrants. Nah, knock it off. If you're American and you don't bring that dollar, they ain't trying to hear it. They not trying to hear it. Cool. Man, listen. They think they French over there. They think they French expats. Well, you can try it. You should do it. Yeah, always. When everybody's trying to go do that, you should want to do the opposite. Okay, that's how people get. Again, I'm just telling y'all why people are like, Erica, it's a recession. It's about to be depression. No one's starting a business right now, Erica. I'm telling you, there's a white girl. She going viral on Instagram. Y'all might have seen her. And some of y'all sent me, like maybe 4 of y'all sent me the clip. And she started a construction company. She ain't even been in business 3 months. She's already made 300 grand. Why? Because I'm telling you. So I keep talking about middleman and millions. I'm like, if you know how to pick up the phone, you know how to return people phone calls, you are doing better than 90% of businesses. If you can pay a second person and y'all both be returning calls, you're doing better than 90% of people. Majority of contractors answer their phone and their prices depend on how busy they are. They're going to give you a crazy price and tell you it's going to be 6 months out and they're so busy. Maybe in 2 months you can get you in, maybe in a month. If he needed the money tomorrow, he'll get that job done. I can get it done in 2 days. And for like half the price I told you before. So there's already this ununiformed pricing, this ununiform when they can get to you, right? I told y'all when there was a storm here in this town, it was just 3 chimney cleaners, sweepers in the county. And they were backed up, right? And so you have to understand when it comes to home services, people every day are not going to be able to cook, clean, wash, clothes, whatever. Anything you think of tied to a house, there's a generation of people getting older. And what's so funny is if you actually listen to a lot of the old people like, oh, I moved to an apartment. I downsized. I went over to Panama. I got tired of paying for lawn care. Sir, if you're paying the lawn people maybe $150 for the month, a kid in the neighborhood to cut the grass, whatever the program. If 150 is wrecking your life, I've told y'all this for many things, there's deeper problems. Okay. If your cell phone bill go from 50 to 100 and you're like, I got to get the hell out of here. It's not the cell phone bill. You're having a cash flow management problem. If Netflix raises price from $9 to $16 and people are protesting in the streets, baby, Netflix being $16 ain't your problem. That ain't your problem. There's deeper problems. Deeper problems. If you can just hear when people talk about food purchases, you be like, okay, like drive around, go to a farmer's market, order online. Like people start acting like you're confusing them by giving them more options to solve their problem. This is why it's so easy in 2 years to completely be different than everybody you know. And you'll call people that you used to eat dinner with and they're like, girl, what you doing? What you mind a plane? What? You doing a project because they've been on 2 years autopilot, baby kid school work, go to church twice a Sunday, twice a week. Okay. Twice a month. Some of them baby school work. And that's been their whole life. I've talked to friends who, girl, I know you a single person. You be bored with what I'm talking about. I'm like, no, that's just your life. Tell me about the girls' school. Tell me if something happened. Cool. That's part of the conversation. But that's how people are so segmented in America. You got the people who are really raising families, doing stuff, not talking to people who maybe not tied to kid services, all this stuff like that. There's a big gap there. And so there's this like fantasy living where the guy who's married think it'd be so much better if I was just a single divorced dad in an apartment. And he starts acting like that, not knowing he's winning. There are women right now who have a really nice, Steve Urkel husband that's doing what he got to do and taking care of her. And she out here daydreaming about Thugalicious. Okay. She out here dreaming about the muscular guy next door, whatever. Right. People have to understand that you got to do some math and some logic. Like come back to the numbers. Like always just do some numbers. It's not that hard. Kids eat me out of house and home. You already know that's people's favorite conversation. Oh girl, these kids, they grow and they feet grow. And I'd be like, okay. What else is going on? Tell me. Math is hard. Math is hard. Red Clay, what's up? Uncut Underground. I don't know if you've been doing live. Salute if you still out here doing it. I know this guy right here is building a homestead. He out there building a compound. We're going to roll up to his compound, y'all. Anyway, just messing. Salute if you haven't seen his show. He does great takes on crypto and some other things. Dollar menu is the cheap route. Yeah. Where's the faux? 4x4, where is it? Man, you already know. Ask Wendy's about the nugget oh my God, I don't. IMF loan equals saver. Exactly. Who are the last two holding out that don't have IMF loans at all? It's Russia and it's it was Syria, but now they got it. They didn't get a choice. They got it now. They don't have no president. Okay, so now their new government has it. Syria and North Korea. Russia and North Korea. Isn't that interesting that we really keep getting all this propaganda to hate them? And but I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna get out of there. In France, they said, "Ooh, we're not playing no more." Oui. They need something. It is their karma, but we're gonna leave that alone. Africa low-key battery powers the world. America is I really want to call most of my videos America is the cash cow. America's the golden t-shirt. This is why you have 300 Koreans illegally working at a factory in the middle of nowhere, Georgia. It's probably sending half their money home. Other half they stacking up with 4 or 5 people in a house. Y'all keep, we make fun of them, but at the end of the day, it's because America's the golden ticket. Oh, Erica, if you're a black person, you can live well in Colombia and South America and Panama. Go look at the actual black people who live in those countries. You're not talking to some girl who ain't never traveled. This been traveling my whole life. Like, go look at people who, what country was sick? Oh, when Brazil was, I'm talking about struggling, right? Because Brazil always had all these white people be doctors, lawyers, and all that stuff, but their population is so low that instead of saying, hey man, we need to pull some of them black kids up, we got to pull a lot of these black people up and get them educated more and make more medical people. They call Cuba And Cuba said, look, we'll send you about 2,000 doctors and nurses on a flight. Is that good? Yeah, man, we're going to pay you, Cuba, because this COVID kicking our butt. So, of course, they get off the plane. They got the Brazilians lined up to clap, right? When they get off the plane. And then as they coming off the plane, they looking like this, like, why are they looking like that? Because Cuba sent all the black doctors. And I'm not talking about, oh, Erica, you're black. I'm talking about black is my hair doctors. And the news articles in Brazil said Cuba sent us a bunch of maids and servants. This is in 2020, y'all. This is the country y'all talking about going to. Brazil is having a wave of hair care people become millionaires. Why? Because they make stuff for curly hair. They quit perming their hair, dog. Yeah. This is in 2020s. Hair companies are coming about. Like one girl became a multimillionaire, started speaking out against the government. Guess what? She died magically. Somebody shot her in the back. Ain't that something? But again, you want to go to Brazil so you can touch booties. I get it, baby. I get it. They got some good looking men over there. I ain't gonna lie. Okay, I'm being in my best behavior saying what I want to say. But I want you to understand. The country's in dire straits, begging for other countries to send medical people. Cuba goes, no problem. Let me round you up a couple of our doctors because we got so many. Because we thought this country was going, we thought it was going to really do what we do, right? And these people looked at them as that way. Now, why am I bringing this up to you? Why does this matter? If you're a black person growing up in those countries, yeah, right now in 2025, the most people think of you or will allow you to be is a servant, sex worker, teachers. A lot more teachers are now. There are a lot more teachers. But the upper echelons of that country, you're not going to be. The reason you can find a girl who will do whatever you say, because if she's dealing with you, she's not dealing with the best of her country. You know that's true. And if it wasn't for your dollar, she wouldn't even be dealing with you. Right? We have to really kind of get out of the fog here. That if you're a black person, yes, is America the best ever? I'm not going to say that. You may go to some African country and do well. Sure. No problem. You can go in other parts of this world and do well. I'm just saying, tell me the country that's like, hey, you over there, you want a car? Put it on a car. You over there, you want to bet, you want 100K in credit cards? Here you go. Have a great day. It's not happening over there. It's not happening in Africa. We showed you our black friend in banking that opened up a series of grocery stores in Panama. Amazing, financially amazing, but him and his wife are the top of the tier of the top of the tier. They're from the islands. They're lawyers. He's a banker. They're at the upper echelons of their people in their own country before they came here to Panama. In America, man, let me tell you, just do a little bit more than the next guy and you'll make millions. People don't want to hear that though. Let me go through here. I'm gonna go down here because I'm gonna read the office poll. Hold on a second. Listen, okay? Come on, man. You already know. Let me get down here. Listen, the world reserve currency, people, listen, they talk about all the time how they'll be at a hotel and they brought, the hair braider's coming and she's African. They won't even let her go upstairs. They call the room like, ma'am, there's somebody trying to come to your room. She's like, yes. Woman, come out, she black. She's like, yeah, I'm trying to get, oh, I'm so sorry, ma'am. Go ahead and take your guest to your room. Baby, they only like us because we're American with some dollars. They can't understand it's only because of the almighty dollar. They can't even listen. That's how sad it is. People are saying, I don't even care if the person don't want me for me. Come on, man. Listen, I didn't say that. Pension pimping. Baby, I want to trademark that. International tricking. You're pension pimping on $3,000 a month. Come on, man. Hit the like button, y'all. Farmers got to switch up, and they don't want to hear that. They wanted to end the subsidies. Ended it was waste. But those subsidies were buying up soybeans. Yeah, when China mad with us, and they don't buy our soybeans. Yeah. Uh-oh. You already know what time it is. The poll, people are saying men and older workers, men, older men, old heads. Old heads, men, older men. Okay. older men. Come on, yeah, come on, men. Come on, listen, men. All the studies, middle age management, and men. We're just crying the cup. We got to get back in the offices. We can't. And I'm not talking about the CEOs. I'm talking about middle management. Not even high up the totem pole. Taking several surveys. Multiple different companies and studies have done surveys during the pandemic, and they're like, "This just can't work. We must get in the office. We must go to work." I was trying to buy a business in the middle of a pandemic. I had an older male that worked for me. Oh, he every day he be at the office. Every day he goes check the job site. Every day he does. I'm like, God, oh, you all right? He's like, well, I gotta show my wife I'm busy. This one girl was saying how they had a doctor's office and they keep telling them the doctor don't take any files home, because that violates HIPAA laws. You gotta whatever you need to review it at the office, right? And he kept taking files home, and so he would have to call his wife and be like, "Hey, can you bring that file back to the office?" Because the law, you're breaking the law. Okay, you got people's social security number, you got the information, you got they blood type, they everything. Okay. And they were saying how his wife would come in there and slam the files on the test and walk out. And I thought that was so funny. And I know why it's funny, because his wife is tired of it. Okay. But at work, because he's the doctor, he's the boss, everybody's like, yeah, yes, sir. People like order and structure. This is why I keep telling y'all when y'all are like, Erica, I want to start a business, but maybe nobody will work for me. Girl, please. People People need validation. People need recommend the word I'm trying to use. They need you to say how valuable they are. Validation, essentially. And that's why when you ask people, like, what are some hobbies you're doing? Oh, all these hobbies are expensive or this cost. It's important to ask those questions. I want y'all to do. Because the average person stuffs their life with work. There you go. You already know. You know what? I don't have it, but y'all kept sending it to me. And I'm telling you, she went hardcore. That's why I just said I'm gonna just show y'all the concrete ads and a few other Facebook ads that we're using. Here's the screenshot. Here's the numbers. Here's how we did it. I'm telling you, picking a city and buying SEO lead pages, boy, I'm telling you, it's most people don't want to market. They just want to go to the job and get paid. There's always somebody to do it cheaper. Good luck with that. I just tell people, good luck with that. I'm trying really hard. and it's for various reasons. There's when incomes are tight, planes that were $329 are selling for $229. Planes that were $1 million all of a sudden now $700,000. Like, you can buy a plane with a group of people and let it get chartered out. And when y'all need your certain weeks, you need to put in the schedule those weeks you're reserved for that plane. But most people ain't flying every other day, right? They're reserving a week or two to take their family wherever. And this is a very common thing in Austin and in Charlotte and a few other places where people get in these contracts. I don't know if y'all remember him 500 flying that plane. That wasn't a plane for him to fly. That was a plane that's going to get continuously chartered out. And you would think, well, Erica, who's chartering these planes? Schools, colleges, golf programs, volleyball programs. As much as you think it would be cheap for colleges to just on the dot book flights for their players, some of the smaller schools, some of the more robust financial schools can actually book charter planes up all year long. The more you know. I mean, that's a whole nother conversation that I got out of a whole different mastermind. But essentially, there are people, when times are tough, people start selling those planes. Okay. And then if it's two guys and on this, like, hey, man, we're not both going to be flying all the time at the same time. But also that you can hire a pilot to fly you around. On top of that, if you want to do a lot of speaking engagements in a year, people be talking about Myron Golden's plane. Like, it's not as expensive as you think. And you'd be surprised the amount of business people do and get via private planes. Now, you're going to get the best bang for your buck if you're somewhere like LA to Las Vegas, because there's so many empty legs in those spots. You're going to get a lot of bang for your buck in New Jersey to Florida. There's a ton of charter planes. I could do a whole show on charter planes, but I'm going to get on back to what I had to say. The reason people's lives change in 2 years is because they just are awake. They're just paying attention. They just put their arrow somewhere and aim at it. And how do I, get closer to that goal? That's really the difference. Okay, you have to ask Ty City. Don't the Euros fly Brazil to in Latin America? Yeah, they did a ton. They did a ton. Hey, that's insane. Yeah, we're just the cleanest shirt in the pal. It's really easy to invest. I'm not trying to hurt feelings. That's really not what I'm trying to do. Native blacks in South America is catching hell. They started counting them as citizens. Yeah. Right now in Veracruz, this is back in the day, I was working at Jason's Deli. It's all these ladies. And so you see how curly my hair is. And the one lady said, oh, she's Spanish too? Like as a joke, as a laugh. And the Mexican lady beside me said, oh, she's from Veracruz. Now, what is Veracruz, Mexico? Veracruz, Mexico is where you just saw the news that the train system is connecting over there because China wants access. So China's making sure the train go from one side of Mexico all the way across, okay? So they can put their goods on it. And Veracruz is one of the places that's finally going to get train access. Now, what's so important about Veracruz? They're on the shore. They're near the beach. They have shrimp. Shrimp and fish tacos are, way of life or whatever particular. Their cooking is they have different what do you call them? States in Mexico. But long story short, Veracruz. That's home of like when you see the survey that there's like 1 million black Mexicans, that's basically where they are. So when I was at that job, they were like, oh, that's our Veracruz cousin. Oh, she's from Veracruz. Oh, she's that one right there. She's from Veracruz. And they would keep laughing and giggling. And finally I Google it and look it up and I'm like, curly hair women with dark skin. Okay, cool. That's what's up. Like, that's cool with me, right? Whatever, and you have to understand like parts of South America is rough, but they're even rough on just brown, bigger nose Latino men. Like, I saw them stand 2 men side by side and I thought they were both decent looking. And the one that looked like a white Spanish person was like, oh no, he would be considered whatever, essentially ugly is what he was saying. But I was like, this is crazy. That's why when y'all go down there, oh, they love black men down there. Oh, really? They do? Tell me more. Tell me more. Exactly. Brazil inflation went through the roof. There's a dude called Fly Brother. You can go find his blog. He was the first who really opened my eyes and heart in 2012 and 15. Like, oh my God, I can go to Brazil and Argentina. Like, I wanted the college to pay for me to go to Chile, Santiago for the business master degree business part of the master degree class or whatever, however you want to say it. The degree was part of international business. And I was like, oh my God, they'll pay. And they were like, no, you don't really want to be in Chile. You want to be in over here, over there. And so I remember Fly Brother reading his blog and being like, I needed to know someone who was already over there. And when inflation hit Brazil, he was like, I'm out. He was like, it doesn't make sense buried to my dollar anymore. So that's right. They want that worth wife. They need somebody to respect their authority. It is what it is. Greedy said I'm Black Rican. Yeah, there's a ton of Native folks over here with this kind of hair. But at the end of the day, I had that one and I'll see if I have the other one up. This is a good one. And I can close it up. Oh shit, is it an hour? I'm sorry, y'all. This is my last one. I'm gonna get out of here.
College graduates are supposed to be smart, but they still don't understand the concept that correlation is not causation. Many have bought into the marketing that if you go to college, you make more money. Again, not understanding that correlation is not causation. This false narrative is propagated in the media all the time. Quote, the lifetime return to college remains enormous. 4 years of study adds more than $1 million to expected earnings. Not sure what this person Justin studied in college, but again, correlation is not causation. Here's Warren Buffett to explain.
And so I think that's one of the silliest statistics that they publish. To say that a college education is worth X because people that go to college earn this much more than the ones that don't. You're talking about two different universes, and to attribute the entire difference to the one variable that they went to college as opposed to the difference between the people who want to go to college and have the ability to get into college.
It's completely nutty.
It's a fraud.
And they say, but college educated people
do better. It's a big bargain. But maybe they do better because they were better to start with before they ever went to college.
Yeah.
And they never tell you that. It's a ridiculous argument.
To use college as the one factor, as the reason why someone makes more money than another is completely misguided. Don't go into college thinking that you'll make more money because you get this college degree. Some people make more money just because they're good at making money. Learn the lessons about money that college can't teach you because they want you to take on more college debt in order to go to college. Start here and download the free newsletter linked off my bio. Good luck. Take care. College.
Okay. Why do I keep bringing him up? Why do I keep bringing that particular one? And I'm gonna finish here. If you want to be a part of any 1% in the country, and especially America, if you own 3 properties, you're in the 1% of America. There's a ton of Americans who own a second property, which is interesting, but 3, you're in the 1% of America. If you own 10 acres of land, you are in the 1% of America. The average American owns no land. No land. Okay. If if you run a business with more than 2 employees, you are in the 1% of even business owners in America. And American business owners are like, out of America, there's like 30 million businesses. Out of that number, it's an even smaller percentages that have actual employees. Just those 3 things. If I own 10 acres, I have 3 rental properties, and I have a company with 3 employees, I'm in the top 1% of America. When you don't know data, people will come online and say the stupid shit of, well, you got to be 6'4", 6-pack abs and 6-figure income. Baby, only 18% of us are making that. But the key part of that, even in that conversation, is if you don't know math, if you can't read or do basic math or know basic data about how this country goes, it's easy for somebody to get over on you. It's easy for somebody to tell you, yeah, go overseas, run away, go over there, go look for someone to live over there, get out of here. Instead of you going, let me at least, own some acres, put some rentals on it, do something, right? Own a store, put a storage unit on the property, something, right? Create wealth from just the land, okay? If you don't know that, though, it's easy to pull the wool over your head. That's just basic education. That's basic information. And that's how when people all of a sudden, hey man, I own this farm or I do this or I got a business, that their life changes in 2 years so fast is because most people are not doing the 1 or 2 basic things that would make you a 1% in this country. So yes, you will continue to see more and more African American people and people online crying about the America being overpriced and too expensive. And when you confront them with what is your degree in, what are you doing? Okay, this is how you can invest your money. I don't want to do that. I'm American. I do what I want. Okay, well, feel free. Feel free to do what you want. Feel free. But you're not going to have that life-changing incident unless you get injured, sick, or something happens. Because some people they don't put their head in the sand. I'm going to read these last comments and I'm going to get on out of here. Of course, South America is troublesome for blacks. The Confederacy is still on there. Hey, they kind of do. That's what our parents told us in the 80s and 90s. What are you going to school for? What are you doing? My family owns an apartment complex in LA since the 80s. Yeah, LA is one of the last places in the whole United States where 85% of the landlords in that major city are mom and pop, which means they have less than 10 units or less than 10 doors. And so I just want people to understand, like, when they were championing COVID, not paying people, letting people stay in apartments for over a year with no rent, they were just trying to hurt mom and pop landlords at that point. So that's because they know their numbers. They know their math. That's who owns most of LA. 85%, mom and pop. Arnold Schwarzenegger was a millionaire in real estate in LA, in Cali, before he became a movie star. So I just want people to understand, like, it's always been real estate, businesses, stock market, those 3. Now you want to add crypto to the conversation? No problem. But at the end of the day, you have to know enough information. Because a lot of people like, Erica, I'm smart. I can get it. I'm sharp. I don't need to get degrees and certifications. I don't need to do all that, Erica. And I always feel bad when they say it because I can watch them not reach their fullest potential because they're trying to skate by on thin credentials. Good luck. Right? Greedy said, I got 100 acres in Mississippi. Hey, man. Hey, you can get down there. There's a young Latino boy out of California. He been door dashing and Uber Eats and all that stuff. And they bought a house off the auction in Detroit, like not in Detroit, the town above Detroit, in an auction, bought the house. And so he's like, I have a paid off house, and that in California, I'll never have that. And his family's now he's going to start buying properties. There's several Latinos that have that same story. There's like 2 or 3. I'll bring them up another show where the guy and this girl left California. They bought 10 rental properties and all their family started leaving Seattle and coming where they were. They only join you when you start winning, baby. But anyways, this is your girl Erica, Classy Climb Blog. Thank you guys for so much. Thank you for all the commentary. You guys are hilarious. Again, Middleman to Million School, Middleman to Million class. The next 4 months is going to be cleanup season for people and also in business buying and inquiring companies. You need to figure out, why would I want to buy a business? What are they doing? How are they running it? You can learn more there. All right, you guys, this is your girl Erica. Have a good night. You've probably been seeing these commercials for Middleman to Millions course. What is Middleman to Millions? We're teaching so many people how to have service businesses. The upcoming year, one of the fastest growing businesses you will see are service businesses and digital businesses. Why is that? Because so many things need repairs, need maintenance. And guess what? We have a shortage of men and also women who can do things. Listen, I'm not the best with a hammer, but I know I can gather a crew of people to get things done. And that's what I've done with 2 of my service businesses. And that's what I'll be teaching if you check us out in the Middleman to Millions course. And look forward to us on the road with Digital Liberty Tour 2024. It's Erica Williams.